In this video, I'll be talking about designing tips for clothing brand owners so y'all can get better as designers. They requested this video from me, so I'm gonna give you the boys a video. So look, boom. The reason why I'm bringing up this video because I feel like a lot of brand owners, they don't design themselves and they pay for designers. Mind you, paying for designs is really costly, costs a lot, especially in the beginning. And also, when you pay for designs, there's not that many good people who offer designs. So it's a lack of creativity as well. And I feel as a lot of people, a lot of brands that don't design for themselves, most of the time what they make isn't always that good, and it's, you kind of could just tell when people don't design for themselves. So yeah, let's get straight into this video. So I got a couple tips I gotta run down on this page right here. Design products that people don't usually make, and I'm gonna break that down. So for example, a lot of people make, they do the starter shit where they make just hoodies and t-shirts and like pants or like sweatpants, right? So I feel like when you start designing, start just making shit. That's what I really got into. Especially right now. I'm making polos, varsity jackets, duffel bags, tote bags, jewelry, glasses, just a whole bunch of different shit I'm doing now. Like I'm telling you, I'm doing a lot of things now. Start not just designing the same shit. Like, I know a hoodie is easy, I know a t-shirt is easy, but to get better and stuff like that, you gotta get out your comfort zone and definitely start designing more pieces that are just out there, like denim jackets. Just start designing a whole bunch of stuff, even though these things are more costly on this side. Start designing them things because it gets you a better idea of what you want to do, and also it's just more creative as you want to call it. So yeah, next tip I got for y'all boys is that I said this in my last video, but I'm gonna break it down better. Designs isn't just the design itself or just the graphic, it's more so the whole piece in itself. So even like the silhouette of things, like how a thing is structured, that all takes into the design. So like shapes, lines, patterns, anything you could really think of really takes into the design. Because like for example, like this phone case right here, so like you see the design is an Apple logo and it's pink, but every phone case has to fit the phone, and the design is different for every phone case because the sizing, right? I'm gonna get into the sizing next, but yeah, that's another silhouette. We got just a whole bunch of different things. Like you got, like, say for this candle has a different silhouette. Like not all candles are built like this, so like the way like the cap is shaped, it's not like a regular cap. They got the way the thing is shaped, they got the, like, it's the whole thing is in the design way. So when you're thinking about designing, don't only think about just the graphic itself or like the logo. Think about the hoodie or the bag or just anything. So like extra pockets, buttons, think about all that type of stuff, and like lines, strings, a whole bunch of shit that goes into design. So think about all that type of things. And yeah, I'm gonna talk about all that stuff later, regarding like different fabrics and all that shit you could use and shit like that. But yeah, like the fabrics, the prints, all that shit. So yeah, I would say the most part about designing I would talk about is like the sizing, right? The sizing is super duper important. So with sizing, I would say sizing and like size charts is probably like just as important, as not just as important, but pretty like really important when it comes to designs. Because the only reason why I'm saying this is because it's how it's gonna fit and look on body, right? So size charts are really important. So make sure when you actually are designing and stuff, factor in the size chart and measurements. I'm gonna get into the measurements next. So like with the size chart, depending on how like the fit of it, if you want a boxy tee, longer tee, all that stuff, that all calculates in the design, right? So the size chart basically just brings it to life on how it's gonna look on body. So if you want a crop fit, long fit, weird fit, all that thing, you gotta also factor in the size charts. So what I do right now mainly with size charts, what I'm actually starting to do in like yesterday, I've been perfecting samples and stuff like that. So all my designs and stuff been coming out perfect, but the sizing has been like iffy, especially for these pullover hoodies I want to do. So what I'm doing is now, since the designs are already finalized, I'm just gonna get a blank made just to fix the sizing. So you could also do that because it's way more, like the cost of that is way more less. So it's way less, instead of just having to get a sample of the same thing over and over again. You could get a blank of it made just to get the sizing down, and you could do that over and over again. It won't cost you as much. Now let's talk about measurements, because measurements are just as important as everything else with the design. So your measurements, right? So getting down your measurements. So measurements is super important, and they play a huge role because it's how it's gonna look and how it's gonna be Like, say if your graphic is too big, it might mess up the t-shirt, or if it's too small, it might make the t-shirt look ridiculous. Back in the day, when I was first starting out, I was really bad at like measurements and stuff. And I'm gonna give you a tactic how to get better at measurements. But I was really, really bad at measurements. And the reason why I was so bad is because I wasn't really taking my time to understand measurements, and I didn't have these tactics I'm gonna talk about. So to get better at measurements, right? So I use Adobe Illustrator, right? If you use Adobe Illustrator, this tool will really help you a lot. And if you don't, it's perfectly okay. So I use Adobe Illustrator and I use mockups. So on mockups, right? There's a measuring tool, and I'm gonna just show you how to display on the screen. You could literally this only works if the mockup is a flat lay. If the mockup isn't a flat lay, or like the mockup like kind of curves, or like anywhere that the like when you lay it on the ground, it like it don't look like that, then you can't use it. But it has to be a flat lay. You can use the measuring tool, and what I do is for the measuring, I make it to where like on the size chart for the graphic, I make the say like the chest, for example, I make it match the chest length, right, of the mock-up of the size chart that I'm using. And then after that, I put my logos down and place them where I want them to go, and then I measure them out to make it all even and make it match up and equal, if that makes sense. So now I'm gonna talk about just measuring tool in general. Not the measuring tool, but just IRL measuring. So get you a little strip like this, just like a measuring tape. You don't have to get none of the crazy shit. Just go on Amazon and shit, probably like $2, $1. But get one of these, it's like $2, $1. And all you do is, I'm gonna show you. It gives you a good representation of just measuring things out, especially when you get your samples. But also, I'm gonna show you how this little method. I'm gonna display on the screen where I literally go into like Photoshop or anything, or like Illustrator. I measure it on my screen with like the measure tape, or how big I want the logo, and then I zoom in on the logo right on my screen. If it's a really big logo, it might not work, but most of the time it does work. So I measure it on my screen, then I get a piece of paper, right, like a paper like this, right, and then I place it on the screen, sketch it out. Then I get a pencil, sketch it out and stuff, and then I cut it out to get a real visual how the logo's gonna look, like me holding it in my hand, or I put it on a t-shirt, anything like that. So that's what I do most of the time. I just did that for one of the pieces I'm working on. So yeah, so I would say this is my next tip I'll give, right? So if you're starting to design, right, at first, like you're literally just starting designing, I would suggest you to copy people's concepts, like basically like literally copy people's concept at first, but don't drop these pieces. Like don't drop them at all. Just copy these people's concepts so you could like understand technique and actually get in the game. I feel like a lot of people say a lot of brands are copy and paste, and don't copy, it's a bad thing. But when you're first starting out, I think you should definitely copy, and I think you should definitely get the understanding of copying and actually like get into the bag of copying. So when you really want to create something unique, your own shit, you won't be like a basic dummy. Like you'll actually know some things regarding like design. So yeah, but just don't drop none of the shit that you really copy, but definitely copy so you can understand and really like follow and shit like that. Like watch videos on YouTube on how to design, and kind of just copy what they're doing. Definitely add your twist and shit, copy what they're doing, just so you can understand and grasp techniques and shit like that. So yeah. Now we're on to the next one. I would say really start to do this. I literally really be getting in my bag with this, learning how to sketch. And well, I've always been like a doodler, like always throughout school, I would say. So yeah, learning how to sketch and stuff, and just start sketching. I feel like sketching is really powerful because you could do it anywhere at any time. Just get a pen, piece of paper, and just think of ideas and just start sketching. I feel like sketching helps the best to bring concepts to life. Like I sketched a graphic like 2 days ago and brought it to life. I can't show y'all niggas because I ain't showing no niggas my designs. Not doing it. Like I got this sample right here. Oh my god, it's so good, but y'all not seeing that shit until I want y'all to see it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But yeah, I would say sketch out ideas, because when you sketch things out, it helps a lot. Like I created this whole original concept of just these things, and I sketched them all out, and then I painted them, and then I did it again, and then I brought them to life on Illustrator, and yeah, that helped a lot. So start sketching. Also, with another thing I would say what helps with just creating in general, start just creating in IRL in real life. That sounds fucking crazy. I'm using streamer lingo, but start creating like things in IRL. So I would say I started painting. Let me show y'all. Hold on. Hold on. So look, I always been painting, right? When I started painting was in high school in like art class. Like that's where you see all that shit. That's all like from high school over there. But this was all from like me now. So that was like my first ever painting I really did for real. Wasn't too serious. Wait, yeah, that was the first one I ever did. That one I didn't have no guide, right? And back to the copy thing, right? What I was talking about copying. So like what I would do is like search up YouTube tutorials on like landscapes and like practice painting techniques on landscapes and stuff like that to get an idea. And that's what I mean by like copy people, like practice landscapes. I'm sorry for the sun, but yeah. So that's what I would do. I can't even really see, but yeah, this shit is fire. And I definitely added my own twist to it, but definitely started painting landscapes. But then painted this all from an idea of a sketch. So I'm gonna start doing this more just to get more of my creative bag, I would say. So yeah, I would say start doing shit just outside of just illustrating or Photoshop, because it helps a lot with just creative process and shit like that. So yeah, oh shit, I almost fell, nigga, damn. But yeah, start doing shit like that because it really helps a lot. So now we on to the next one. Inspiration, I would say definitely I would strive to get inspiration off Pinterest and shit like that, but don't only get inspiration off Pinterest and shit like that, because I say the shit that you'll get the best inspo from is shit in real life, like real world scenarios, real life people you meet, all that good stuff. So I would say definitely do that, like get most of your inspo just from the world, like live life, live through experiences, all that good stuff. When you go to like when you go to like conventions or like stores, it really brings, like I went to Atlanta Street, we're in it, that I saw a couple things that really like brightened my world and was like, wow. Like yeah, you'll see a bunch of stuff on the internet, but you'll see a lot of good shit in person too. So use that as well. So now we got the vet tip, right? Because I feel like when people start designing, they don't really do this a lot. People don't really use branding a lot. I see a lot of brands don't really use branding, and branding is super duper important. So let's dive in deep into the branding, right? So for example, right, like Supreme, Nike. Let's just talk about Supreme. They dropped the box logo and literally took over the world for a period of time. So that's how important branding is and how strong branding is. So I would say definitely focus on branding, because with branding you could literally do a lot. Like for example, like Cortez, their branding is now Cortez rules the world, and they could literally slap Cortez on a t-shirt and shit sells out. So you really want to focus on your logo and your branding. In the early stages, I see a lot of people not focusing on their logo, or their logo just might be a little doo-doo, so they can't do much with their logo. But I would say start using your logo and stuff in most of your products, and also create things with your logo that isn't just your logo. And I'm gonna bring up an example of that. Like Nike, they got like certain things to where like they got the swoosh, they got the Nike, they got so much different things. They got different Nike logos with a basketball and just etc etc. So for example, I'm gonna show y'all an example real quick. So E-Star, for me, I'm gonna just put up a couple things on the screen, that some things I just show y'all that my brand really go by. Don't copy me, nigga. Actually, you could copy me, I'm joking. I got the E-Star logo, the long form E-Star logo, circle E-Star logo. You got the E-Star patch. Then you got the patch without the E-Star member, Star signature. You got the art logo. What else, nigga? We got the E and G logo. We got the E-Star on fire. And I could just keep going and keep going. So, and then I got the E-Star with the inspire the youth with the signature. And then I also got this shit. This shit kind of booty. I gotta get it redone. But we got the E-Star in the signature cursive font, and really like that a lot. I put that on all of our pants and shit. So yeah, stuff like that. Use branding to your advantage, because the more people know your name, the more it will connect with them, and you'll have more people to connect with you. So yeah, branding is really important. I find that to be one of the important things out this video that I don't see a lot. So use branding to your advantage, and use those things over and over again throughout all your products. Like with a patch, you could use a patch a million times. So yeah, use a patch 50 million times. So yeah, boom. Next one I got is learn new techniques. Learning new techniques will literally make you a better designer, just overall in general. So learn techniques through like real life. So like a technique I just showed y'all with the whole measuring shit, we'll do blah blah blah. Also, you got software techniques. Watch a whole bunch of Photoshop, Illustrator videos on software techniques, on how to do things. Like search up things you have no clue of doing, For example, I didn't know how to put stars in a circle and make it all like look good. So then I searched up how do you put stars on a stroke to make it like a circle, blah blah blah. And I learned how to do that. Now I have that technique in my bag I could use over and over again. Or if I want to do it in a different way, I did do it in a different way, I could do that now, right? Also, you got like fabrics, colors, print styles. So learn different techniques. So with print styles, you don't only have to do screen printing. You could do screen print, then have puff print also in the design. Or you could have embroidery. Fuck, I'm gonna show you a picture that I'm about to drop this t-shirt. It has screen print and it has embroidery over it. Or you could do screen print with rhinestones over it. Or you could do puff print with embroidery next to it. Or just learn different techniques. And then with fabric, learn different fabrics to like also learn different techniques that you could do with fabrics. This is how you become unique in a sense, is by doing shit that, like, you're not just doing a screen print tee, like you're adding puff print, or then you're adding like a screen print line in the logo, and then you're also adding rhinestones next to it, and then you're also doing this, that, and the third. So learn those type of things. Also color. Learn how to combine colors good well. You use like color grading apps like cooler.co. I use that sometimes and shit like that. It really, really does help. So use different colors, use different like color combinations, and just learn techniques, because techniques really what makes people different at the end of the day. So yeah, learn techniques. And by learning techniques, you just search up the shit you want to learn on YouTube. YouTube literally has everything. Now we got the next one. I would say spend a lot of time thinking. This is not just only for designing, but just in general, because it helps a lot with just your mental space. Not just mental space, but to get an understanding of how you want to do things. And also when you think, you come up with new ideas. And when you think of an idea, you could just jot it down on a piece of paper or draw the concept. That's how I usually do. Like sitting around just doing nothing sometimes does help, because you're just thinking. Like just think about what you want to create, think about the things you want to do, because that's when the downtime is one of the most important times, because you come up with ideas that you could just dish out. So yeah, think a lot. And also, again, to end off this video, designing is a skill that you have to build over time, just like basketball, just like shooting, just like video games, just like the gym. Anything, you have to just keep putting the reps and the reps and the reps and the reps in and out. So some kind of shit I had to give you out the game. But yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all boys later. You feel me? Weekly videos. Deuces, you feel me?